Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Liverpool transfer signs promising amid Alexander Isak Newcastle waiting game. A closer look at Hugo Ekitike, the £79 million striker who has made a flying start to Liverpool life. It wouldn't have taken long for it to have dawned on Hugo Ekitike the size of the club he has joined in Liverpool. The £79 million signing from Eintracht Frankfurt was barely 12 hours removed from being confirmed as a Reds player when he was paraded in front of 25,000 supporters last month. The fact that such a turnout, for an open training session, came in Hong Kong's Kai Tak Stadium, some 6,000 miles away from his new home on Merseyside, will have been quite the eye-opener for the France under-21 international. Ekitike flew into Hong Kong fresh from completing his medical for Liverpool in late July and was introduced to his new teammates on the pitch of the Kai Tak after they had finished their session in front of supporters on the eve of their pre-season friendly with AC Milan. Rather than be inhibited by the size and scale of his new employers, however, Ekitike has so far taken it all in his stride, with two expertly taken goals against Crystal Palace in the Community Shield last week and Bournemouth in the Premier League on Friday night. It's understood the Reds initially made advances over Ekitike in January as Arne Slot and sporting director Richard Hughes began to gently plan how their forward line might look for the campaign ahead. The Reds head coach spoke to the Frenchman at the end of last season and sold him the vision for how he would fit in when leading the Liverpool line. There was a belief that Newcastle United's interest in Ekitike, which emerged at the beginning of the summer months, would embolden Frankfurt into something resembling an auction. The German side have offloaded the likes of Nikola Jovic, £52 million, Real Madrid, Randal Kolo Muani, £74 million, Paris Saint-Germain, and Omar Marmush, £59 million, Manchester City, for big fees in recent years and saw the situation around Ekitike as being no different. The Magpies saw an opening bid of £70 million rejected before Liverpool swooped quickly last month, having already been armed with all the data, scouting reports and character references needed to pursue the deal. The Reds' willingness to be proactive earlier in the calendar year allowed them to gain the necessary information to proceed when it was agreed that Ekitike was the right player for the next stage of their evolution up front. Their decisive action also allowed them to fend off late interest from Manchester United, who used Director of Recruitment Christopher Vival to sound out Frankfurt sporting director Marcos Kroos. As a result, United and Newcastle were forced to do battle for Benjamin Sesko at RB Leipzig, with the former eventually coming out on top by sealing a £74 million deal for the Slovenia striker. Of course, with the data-driven model at Anfield, the raw numbers and underlying metrics have had a big say in Liverpool's decision to bring in Ekitike, whose £79 million arrival, inclusive of add-ons, sees him become the third most expensive player of all time on Merseyside behind £85 million Darwin Núñez and £116 million Florian Wirtz. "No, I didn't know much at all about him," admits Virgil van Dijk of his new colleague. "I'm glad he scored his second in 2 games. He was also quite tired when he came off. That's also the demand of the Premier League, so he has to keep working to try to stay important. I'm glad he has got off the park in the Premier League and hopefully there is more to come. I think he settled pretty great in the team in general. We all know the life of a striker. You can score and everything is rainbows and sunshine, and you don't and it's a different world. He just has to keep his head down, scoring and making assists, and be impressive in defending and attacking and see what the season brings for him." Despite starting the season with aplomb as a traditional number 9, Ekitike's power and poise can also be utilized in wider positions, according to some at Liverpool, which could yet be an interesting tactical tweak given the ongoing messaging around Alexander Isak at Newcastle. "Hugo had an outstanding season with Reims," Thierry Henry recalls. "He came out of nowhere, he's a local boy, and he took the league by storm. Then he went to Paris Saint-Germain, and that was the year of Lionel, Messi, Neymar and Kylian Mbappe. You're not going to start a lot, so he struggled. He went to Germany, and we saw what he did last year. That duo with Marmush was lethal, they were both unplayable. When Marmush left, Ekitike struggled a bit, but then he went back to scoring goals. I'm not surprised to see what he has done, and I'm very happy for him to be back on track, because it's not always easy to get back up when you receive that first slap. He answered the call. I remember we were looking at him for France under-21s, but he wasn't playing much at the time, so it was difficult to take him. Now he's playing for Liverpool, he has already scored, and what's good with him is that he has both. He's a very good finisher in the box and can also play on the counter because he's fast. That gives you a lot of options when you're a coach. Arne Slot will figure out what he wants to do with him, but for me he's a 9. Liverpool already have exactly what they need on the wing. They were waiting to get that guy, they paid a lot to get him. He's a 9. Can he play on the left or right? Yes, he's versatile because he has speed. But this is what I'm saying, you were never going to ask Alan Shearer to play on the left or right, right? So yes, he's a 9. Liverpool remain coiled to act if given encouragement from Newcastle that they are willing to talk over a potential British record deal for Isak. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our second news is Liverpool linked with move for centre-back Nathan Collins. Liverpool are expected to push ahead with a move for Crystal Palace centre-back Marc Guehi, but the champions are also linked with Brentford's Nathan Collins. Guehi started for Palace in their Premier League opener against Chelsea on Sunday, however there remains a strong chance he leaves before the transfer window closes. Liverpool are his most likely destination and talks are ongoing over a deal which could be worth around £35 million. Having already signed Parma youngster Giovanni Leone, there is less urgency over bringing in another centre-back, but the Reds seemingly have a number of candidates. According to the Mail's Mike Keegan, that includes Brentford and Republic of Ireland defender Collins, with Liverpool joining Man United and Tottenham in their interest. Collins is into his third season with the Bees, having joined from Wolves in a club record £23 million deal in 2023, but clearly Anfield would be a step up. Crucially, the 24-year-old would qualify as a homegrown player in the Premier League, which is also the case with Guehi and is imperative when it comes to the squad building process. However, it is maintained that Brentford will be unlikely sellers, having already seen Brian Mbeumo and captain Christian Norgard depart the club this summer, with Yoane Wissa set to follow. Norgard's successor in the armband, Collins has 4 years remaining on his contract, and the club also hold an option to extend that by a further 2 years, that would make any negotiations for transfer more complicated, unless there is a release clause built into that contract. Collins is 6'4" and naturally dominant in the air, and his front-footed defensive approach is complemented by a composure and technical quality in possession. He has been touted as a possible target for Liverpool in the past, and it is likely that club scouts have been tracking his progress. Whether any move develops is unclear at this stage and could depend on the situation around Guehi, who would bring more top-level experience to Arne Slot's defense and would be available on a free next summer if not signed straight away. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our third news is Oliver Glasner sends cryptic transfer message amid Marc Guehi and Liverpool talks. Marc Guehi continues to be linked with a move to Liverpool this summer, although Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner has raised some doubts over the possibility of him moving to Anfield. Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner issued a cryptic message as Marc Guehi and Ebereki continue to be linked with moves away from the club. The former is the subject of interest from Liverpool, with the Reds exploring the possibility of signing Guehi before the summer transfer window shuts. The England international is due to be out of contract in just under 12 months' time, meaning this would likely be Palace's last opportunity to receive a fee for him. Reports have suggested that Liverpool will recommence talks with the Eagles on Monday, with a little over 2 weeks to go now until the current window ends. Meanwhile, finds himself being heavily linked with a move to Tottenham. There were doubts before Palace's opening Premier League game against Chelsea on Sunday whether he would start, given the speculation is growing. Both and Guehi though were named in Palace's starting lineup at Stamford Bridge, with Glasner suggesting there's still a possibility both could stay put this summer. Asked what Isa's mindset was like amid the speculation around his future, Glasner told Sky Sports, "Very good, otherwise he wouldn't start. I mentioned in the press conference before the game, Marc and EBS really trained well the whole week, and of course there's no reason not to start him. Good advice to all the children watching US, don't believe everything you read in the newspapers. Despite Glasner's message, Palace chairman Steve Parish has hinted the club will have to look to offload Guehi this summer rather than lose him for nothing next year. For players of that caliber to leave on a free, it is a problem for a football club, Parish said. There is no doubt about it, unfortunately. Liverpool's home and away strips for the 2025-26 season are the first in their new partnership with Adidas. Fans can order jerseys in the US at fanatics.com or via the LFC online store in both the US and across the world. Joachim Anderson went and we couldn't afford to lose both of them. We then had another bid in January, but that was a difficult situation as well. Liverpool's transfer plans heat up as Alexander Isak's Newcastle situation continues, while Nathan Collins, Marc Guehi, and Yoane Wissa are linked with Anfield moves. Oliver Glasner's cryptic message adds fuel to the speculation. Get the latest updates on all Liverpool transfer news. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our last news is Liverpool contenders for Yoane Wissa, Newcastle United lead race. Liverpool will reportedly compete with Newcastle United to sign 28-year-old DR Congo international Yoane Wissa from Brentford in the summer transfer window. According to a report by Football Insider, Yoane Wissa is the subject of interest from Liverpool. The Reds are eager to reinforce their offensive unit by signing a striker in the summer transfer window despite the links with Newcastle United's want-away attacker, Alexander Isak. So, the 28-year-old Brentford centre-forward has emerged as a target for the Merseyside outfit. The Premier League champions are surprise contenders to sign the Villeneuve-St. George native in the summer transfer window. However, Liverpool may face a tall order to secure Wissa's services, as Newcastle United and Brentford have advanced talks over a move. The rise of Yoane Wissa as a reliable Premier League striker. Yoane Wissa has been among the most underrated strikers in the Premier League since joining Brentford from FC Lorient in August 2021. The 28-year-old versatile attacker forged one of the most productive offensive partnerships in the top flight, with the duo becoming prolific attackers after Ivan Toney departed from the GTEC Community Stadium. The DR Congo international has gone from strength to strength in the last 4 years, amassing 49 goals and 13 assists in nearly 150 appearances thus far for Brentford. However, a summer departure is on the cards, as Wissa is keen on embarking on a new adventure in the summer transfer window. Liverpool and Newcastle United are among the prospective suitors vying for his signature. What next for Wissa? Liverpool's interest in Yoane Wissa makes sense. The Reds are eager to reinforce their offensive unit by signing another striker in the summer transfer window despite securing Hugo Ekitike's services. The Frenchman has been a revelation in his early days with the Merseyside outfit. However, Darwin Núñez's departure has compelled Liverpool to pursue another striker. So, Alexander Isak is their top target, with Wissa a viable alternative. As for Newcastle United, the Magpies are in a spot of bother over Isak's long-term future, with the Swedish international pushing for a summer move to Liverpool. Additionally, Isak has told Newcastle United that he will never play for the Tyneside outfit again. So, Wissa has emerged as a viable target for the Tyneside outfit, with talks with Brentford well advanced over a summer move. Meanwhile, the Brentford striker has been pushing to join Newcastle United in the ongoing transfer window, and recent reports have suggested that he is forcing a summer exit. So, while Liverpool may be surprise contenders to sign Wissa, he will likely move to St. James' Park this month. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest news.